and welcome to Cosette's Enchanted Journeys. I am Jenny the Genie, here with my sweet friend Cosette the cat, and we're just both so happy that you could pop in and join us in our magic lamp today. You know, most of the time we're having a lot of fun in here. We're dancing, we're drawing, we're playing dress up, we're just letting our imaginations run wild. But both Cosette and I have been sitting here unsure of what to do with ourselves today. Do you ever feel that way? Like there's a bunch of things all around your bedroom or outside that you could be doing and you just don't feel like it? Yeah, us too. You know, something Cosette and I have found that helps us when we feel that way is if we go read a story, our imaginations can take off and inspire us to do something fun. Maybe we make something after, or we build something, or we draw something, or maybe we bake. There's all kinds of things that stories can inspire our imaginations to do. Would you like to go with us today and to read a special story and see if we come up with something fun to do together? I would love that. I would really love it if you joined us. And actually, I could use your help to get out of my magic lamp. All you have to do is rub your hands together and say, "I wish to go on an enchanted journey," and away we'll go. Ready? I wish to go on an enchanted journey. To share Scuffy the Tugboat with you. This is a little golden book that I have enjoyed since I was a little girl, and I hope you enjoy it too. Scuffy the Tugboat and His Adventures Down the River by Gertrude Crampton. Scuffy was sad. Scuffy was cross. Scuffy sniffed his blue smokestack. "A toy store is no place for a red-painted tugboat," said Scuffy, and he sniffed his blue smokestack again. "I was meant for bigger things." "Perhaps you would not be cross if you went sailing," said the man with the polka-dot tie who owned the shop. So one night he took Scuffy home to his little boy. He filled the bathtub with water. "Sail, little tugboat," said the little boy. "I won't sail in a bathtub," said Scuffy. "A tub is no place for a red-painted tugboat. I was meant for bigger things." The next day, the man with the polka-dot tie and his little boy carried Scuffy to a laughing brook that started high in the hills. "Sail, little tugboat," said the man with the polka-dot tie. Scuffy floated on a ruffle of the brook and saw above him the smiling faces of the man with the polka-dot tie and his little boy. Scuffy's on an adventure. He's doing what he wants to do. He's finally sailing. It was spring, and the brook was full to the brim with its water, and the water moved in a hurry, as all things move in a hurry when it is spring. Scuffy was in a hurry, too. "Come back, little tugboat, come back," cried the little boy, as the hurrying, brimful brook carried Scuffy downstream. "Not I," tooted Scuffy, "not I. This is the life for me." All that day, Scuffy sailed along with the brook, past the meadows filled with cowslips, past the women washing clothes on the bank, past the little woods filled with violets. Cows came to the brook to drink. They stood in the cool water, and it was fun to sail around between their legs and bump softly into their noses. It was fun to see them drink. But when a white and brown cow almost drank Scuffy instead of the brook's cool water, Scuffy was frightened. That was not fun. Night came, and with it the moon. There was nothing to see but the quiet trees. "This is nice," thought Scuffy. "I like night." Suddenly an owl called out, "Hoot, hoot!" "Toot, toot!" cried the frightened tugboat, and he wished he could see the smiling face of the man with the polka-dot tie. When morning came and the sun danced on the brook again, Scuffy was cross instead of frightened. "A brook is no place for a red-painted tugboat," said Scuffy. "I was meant for bigger things." Around a bend and past a small woods the brook ran, and there was another brook. "Oh, oh," said Scuffy, "what happens now? Which way do I want to go?" But there was only one way to go, and that was with the running water where the two brooks met. He was proud when he sailed past villages. "People build villages at the edge of my river," said Scuffy, and he straightened his blue smokestack. Once Scuffy's river joined a small one jammed with logs. Here were men in heavy jackets and great boots walking along the floating logs, trying to pry them free. "Toot, toot, let me through," demanded Scuffy, but the men paid no attention to him. They pushed the logs apart so they would drift with the river toward the sawmill in town. Scuffy bumped along with the jostling logs. "Ouch!" he cried as two logs bumped together. "This is a fine river," said Scuffy, "but it's very busy and very big for me." He was proud when he sailed under the bridges. "My river is so wide and so deep that people must build bridges to cross it." The river moved through big towns now instead of villages, and the bridges over it were very wide, wide enough so that many cars and trucks and streetcars could cross all at once. The river got deeper and deeper. Scuffy did not have to tuck up his bottom. The river moved faster and faster. "I feel like a train instead of a tugboat," said Scuffy as he hurried along. He was proud when he passed the old sawmill with its water wheel. But high in the hills and the mountains, the winter snow melted. Water filled the brooks and rushed from there into the small rivers. Faster and faster it flowed to the great river where Scuffy sailed. "There is too much water in this river," said Scuffy, as he pitched and tossed on the waves. "Soon it will splash over the top, and what a flood there will be." Soon great armies of men came to save the fields and towns from the rushing water. They filled bags with sand and put them at the edge of the river. "They're making higher banks in the river," Scuffy shouted, "to hold the water back." The water rose higher and higher. The men built the sandbags higher and higher. Higher went the river, higher went the sandbags. "Oh no, our little tugboat, what's he gonna do, guys?" At last the water rose no more. The floodwater rushed on to the sea, and Scuffy raced along with the flood. The people in the fields and the towns were safe. On went the river to the sea. At last, Scuffy sailed into a big city. Here, the river widened, and all about were docks and wharves. Oh, it was a busy place and a noisy place. The cranes groaned as they swung the cargoes into great ships. The porters shouted as they carried suitcases and boxes on board. Horses stamped and truck motors roared. Street cars clanged and people shouted. Scuffy said, "Toot, toot," but nobody noticed. Little Scuffy in a big sea. The whistles blew. Policemen's whistles, train whistles, deep whistles from the great ships as the gangplanks were pulled in, and just beyond lay the sea. "Oh, oh," cried Scuffy when he saw the sea. "There is no end to the sea. I wish I could find the man with the polka dot tie and his little boy." Just as the little red painted tugboat sailed past the last piece of land, a hand reached out and picked him up. And there was the man with the polka dot tie with his little boy beside him. Oh, it sounds like the man arrived just in time to save Scuffy from going out to sea. Scuffy is home now with the man with the polka dot tie and his little boy. He sails from one end of the bathtub to the other. "This is a place for a red painted tugboat," says Scuffy, "and this is the life for me." What an adventure Scuffy had. He felt like he needed to get out of his bathtub and explore bigger waters, lakes, rivers, streams, the ocean. But all of that bigness and busyness made Scuffy feel pretty small and wish for his bathtub again. I'm sure glad that Scuffy got to go on that adventure and find out for sure that home was where he wanted to be. You know, Scuffy reminds me of how much I miss my lamp when I'm away for a while. Maybe we could go back there together. And I have a great idea for something fun we could do. Why don't we draw a picture of a tugboat, just like Scuffy, so we can remember his adventure. And when we get to feeling like we need to get out and explore a little, we can remind ourselves that we can go on an adventure like Scuffy, but sometimes just being home is the perfect place for us to be. What do you say? Do you want to draw this picture with me? All you'll need is a piece of paper, a pencil, crayons, some colored pencil, anything like that that you like to draw with, and we'll sit down and we'll draw a tugboat together. So go grab your materials and let's go. So now we're going to draw our very own tugboat, just like Scuffy. So the first thing you're going to do is take your piece of paper or cardstock or construction paper. It can be any color you want. I'm using kind of a creamy color. It almost looks white. That way I can color in my picture when I'm done. When you make your drawing, you have two different ways you can hold the paper. You can hold the paper so that it's tall, up and down. This is what we call portrait. Or you can hold it so it's wide instead of tall, and this is what we call landscape. I'm going to hold my paper wide in the landscape position so that I have room to make some ocean waves or river waves, put a boat, and add some clouds and things at the top. And I'm going to go ahead and start with step 1, which is making the waves. So I'm just going to take my Sharpie marker and just add some gentle waves. The second step is to draw the bottom of the boat, or our hull. And on the tugboat, as you saw with Scuffy, the front of the boat is taller than the back of the boat. So the bow, the front of the boat, is going to be a little higher up than the stern, or the rear of the boat. So you can do this however you like. You can start in the front, or you can start in the back. It might be easier to start in the front though. So I'm going to make just a little bit of a curved line right here. That's going to be where the front of my boat connects with the water. You can make yours more curved, taller if you want, but that line I'm going to use to guide me toward the back of the boat, and it's a lot shorter than the front of the boat. And then I'm going to curve that one into the water too. So there's my boat. That's a pretty big curve. Yours doesn't have to be that big. You can make this back of the boat a little taller if you like. The next thing I'm going to do, now that we've got waves, we've got the hull of our boat, we need a place for our pilot to steer our boat. So this is what we call the pilot's house. The captain can steer the boat from. So what does he need? He needs a door to get in and out, so that's another rectangle. And I'm going to give him a nice big window so that he can look out while he's in there. And I'm going to add another window in the front. This drawing, all we're doing is a bunch of rectangles or circles so far, and that's going to get us going. And on top of that, we need what we call a steam stack or a smoke stack. Old tugboats used steam, so I'm calling mine a steam stack because I think Tuggy was a steam tugboat. We've got our boat starting to shape up. Starting to see like he's pulling or pushing through the water, because tugboats can either pull or push. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add some steam. There's no right or wrong with this either. Make your steamy, poofy clouds however you like. I'm going to add a light up here where it's going. So that's my light coming out from the boat. And then from here we can just add some details. A lot of tugboats have tires. Harbor them for the night and they tie them up. We've got these tires on the side just to protect them from bumping up against other boats. Here we have what's called our life preserver, just in case anybody goes overboard. From here I'm going to use a little bit of marker and crayon, colored pencil, and just color in my drawing. Look a little bit like Scuffy, so I'm going to find some red and some blue, and I'm just going to color him in. And color this part of the smokestack. We've seen those before at the pool or at the beach at the lifeguard stand. My tugboat, since it's not exactly Scuffy, it's its own. I'm going to add a little yellow just because I think yellow looks really pretty with blue. In fact, red, yellow, and blue are the primary colors, and I tend to use the primary colors quite a bit. Color in this brown. This is a fun activity you can do at home. You can read a story, and then you can get out a piece of paper and some crayons, and you can draw things from the story. And I'm thinking, use the blue again for the door. I'm just color a little bit lighter than the smokestack. And use a little bit of like a silvery gray. Give a little definition to my smoke. So I've added a little bit of silver in to my poofs of steam coming out of my steam stack. And now I'm gonna get a little darker gray and just color in those tires. And now I'm going to use a different color blue. Ooh, how about a turquoise blue? Maybe my tugboat is in tropical waters. It's getting stirred up as the tugboat is coming through. A little more variation of blue, just so there's a lot of different color happening. And there you go. And again, you can add other things to your tugboat picture, maybe a sun, a cloud, a landscape of some kind. Maybe there's an island your tugboat's headed to, or back to the port. But just a really simple drawing you can do at home. I hope you had fun. I'm back, Cosette. I had such a great time with our friends today reading about Scuffy the Tugboat and then drawing our very own tugboat. I hope you'll continue to use your imagination and go on adventures and just be inspired by the stories around you. And I hope that you'll pop in again with us really soon. Bye.